Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday. Hi. If I were a new listener, I'd be like, what the shut this off. Anywho, hi friends, happy Friday, happy 4th of July. Oh my gosh, I bet so many of you are not going to listen to this because typically around the holidays, I've noticed with my listeners, obviously because you're out of routine, people aren't going to work, their normal thing. It's obviously the 4th, people are at the lake doing all sorts of things. If you're listening, hi, hello. I remember that last week, obviously I told the bowling story, which you guys, so many people messaged me and were like, Brenna, I felt the rage. Like, I totally understand why you felt that way. And so many of you were also like laughing. There was my girl Paola who messaged and she's like, Brenna had 45 minutes. So of course, like I obviously recorded it, I edited it, and then I upload and then I forget about it. Well, she said that the next day. So then I just fast forwarded and I listened to myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound manic, but I totally forgot. I forgot to tell you about something, but I totally forgot that I forgot to tell you about something. Is that right? Anywho, last week, not this last week, but the week before, because I didn't really go over the weekend because Carter was gone, not a lot happened, but I was thinking about how disrespectful, as you know, if especially you guys listen to the podcast, I imagine if you have messaged me in the past, I've answered, and I do really deeply apologize if you have messaged me since and I don't get back to it because obviously, I've talked about this a million times. The more I answer message requests, the more people that filter over into my primary like inbox, and therefore I just get way more responses. And it just so happens like if I swipe over to look at my messages and I recognize the name, well, of course, like I try and just look in general, but if you aren't just like at the top of my list at the time that I look, I don't see it, obviously, because I just have more and more and more and more. Oh my gosh, you want to come say hello? Oh, do you guys hear her? Hi, Bug. Oh, you want to be in my lap? Okay, come on in. Speaking of this little monster, y'all, oh my gosh, literally last night. Oh my gosh, I'm so dead that this happened. Sorry, we're trying to get adjusted here. We accidentally left the door open. Typically we leave it cracked. However, like just a tiny bit, but like not big enough that May can get through because she sleeps in her bedroom, as y'all know. Well, are you good, Bug? Sorry. She just is like a lover butt and she's probably feeling kind of sad because last night the door got left open and I don't know what time it was, but I hear a click, 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 click. I hear a dog walking over to my side of the bed and I must have been dreaming because as I'm like coming to, I'm like, oh my gosh, are they just coming to bed? Because last night Carter was watching like YouTube and at like 8, I'm like, okay, babe, I'm getting up and getting into bed. And then he shortly followed, like he finished his YouTube video. He came in, we talked, and then he started reading and I was like lights out. But I had gotten into bed like a hair before he had left the couch. And for whatever reason, when I was dreaming, I woke up and I hear her coming. I'm like, oh my God, are they just coming to the bedroom now? But like, as I was waking up, I'm like, wait, you totally talked while you were in bed. Like, okay, Brenna, it's like the middle of the night. Anywho, that's where my brain was. Well, I hear Maydog walk on my side of the bed. I have no idea what time it is. And she, puts 2 paws up on the bed and is like looking around and she does her little cry. Then she gets down. Then it turns into a little growl. It's, and I know that I have to be still. Like she has to think that I'm dead asleep and like she'll leave because if I answer, either I have to get up and make her go back to the bedroom or I have to lift her up and then she's in the bed and then it ruins my sleep, which she already woke me up. So my sleep is already ruined, but I'm like, okay, Brennan, just sit still. Right. I'm like, I don't know if Carter can hear, whatever. Well, I sit still. She stops. I hear her walk away and I'm like, okay, she's going back to her bed. Nope. Pretty soon, here she comes back over and then she's up on the bed again, just like her paws, looking up, like trying to get up. And I opened my eyes. I had my eyes shut. I was like literally not breathing. I was trying to be so still. And her face is like right by my face. I'm facing that side of the bed. I open my eyes. I just see her ears. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she starts again. She goes, "Rrr, rrr." And then all of the sudden, you guys, Carter's like, May! Back dog! Oh oh, sorry, babe. Is that a little bit triggering for you? He's screaming. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that he was up. And he's never called her a bad dog. And it wasn't like that loud. Well, he was like trying to yell, whisper, because I think he thought I was genuinely asleep. So he's like, Meg, bad dog. And he gets out of bed and he goes and he like snaps his finger, and then I hear her scurry. And then he goes in and he goes to the bathroom. And he's like yelling at her because I think she tried to dodge him and come back in here. And he's like, no. He's like, get in bed. And again, I don't know what time it is, but I'm like dead. And he comes back in. I'm like, babe, I'm sorry. Like I could have done. He's like, no, it's not your fault. Like whatever. We go back to bed. I wake up, but she was definitely like a little bit, not on edge per se, but it was just a tough night. And they made up this morning. Carter, I put her in the bed and he said, I'm sorry I had to yell at you last night, but you cannot come in here. And she said, I'm sorry. And now we're good. Anywho, back to what I was saying. She's literally, y'all, if you're not watching, she is in my lap. Her head is like in between my legs. Oh my gosh, she's prash. We are going to Montana tomorrow and she's coming, and it is a connection. However, we've done this before. They have potty places in the airport. I think on the way there, we connect in Salt Lake, but then on the way back, we're connecting in Minneapolis. We're flying Delta, which Delta is like the best. In my opinion, Delta is the best airline, but I need to grab her. I need to pack. I have to film these 2 podcasts, as I told you on my Instagram stories. I just filmed Mondays right before this, and now I'm filming this. So if you feel me like die off, I apologize. I've been yapping for like hours at this point. But this is not what I was going to say. I was going to tell you that last weekend when Carter was gone, there are a handful or like quite a few that maybe I don't answer every time because again, if I don't see them, but like a lot of you that I recognize that have been, friends for a long time, that you guys have been around. And especially if you listen to the pod. Well, there was this woman, and I'm not going to say her name, but we're BFFs now and you know who you are, but I do want to, keep your privacy, that I've messaged. And I think it was at the Colleen Rothschild event that I posted a photo and maybe she responded. And we had talked about Dallas before. She was from an area around here, or is from an area around here. She is a mom. She has 2 girls who are in high school, single mom, amazing. And she was like, oh my gosh, my daughter is like, kind of in the influencing space and was invited to an event on the Katy Trail like next Saturday. So this was like prior to last weekend. And she's like, I low-key hope I run into you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, first of all, like it was at the terminal, which is where Rose Cafe is, where we get our coffee every Saturday and Sunday. Therefore, if I hadn't even seen this message, I wouldn't have known. Like I definitely walked past her. I guess I probably would have walked by earlier, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like when and what's going on? I was like, I can stop by and say hi. And y'all, I get so many messages about like walking on the trail together, people that are in Dallas that like want to meet up. And I have before. There's actually the girl that I met here who has become my friend. We went on a walk because way back in the day, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm in Dallas. Sweetest little angel ever, Diana. And then it's happened a few times, or like I'll see people and obviously end up chatting. But I was like, oh my gosh, like Carter's out of town. I have free will. I'm like, what time is the event? I'll just like come over and say hi. Maybe we could grab coffee there or whatever. Well, I wake up Saturday morning and we had messaged a little bit and she was like, we're going to be there from like 10 to 11. I'm like, perf. Or we're going to be leaving at like 11, because I also didn't want to bombard. I didn't really know what the event was. Well, I'm like, okay, perfect. We're messaging on Instagram. I go on my morning walk. It's like hot as fuck. And then I meet up with her and her daughters. So she has daughters that are like high school age. So like 16 and 18. Not exactly, I don't think. And then she obviously is their mother. And like all 3 of them were amazing. Like the daughters were so cute. And obviously one of them, the girls, is with her mom often and they listen to the podcast. And it's so funny, especially like I realized it because we ended up chit-chatting. We're like, why don't we grab lunch? So they took me to lunch, which was so sweet. Okay. I remember Carter called me prior to me going and he didn't know I was doing this. And obviously like, hello, nothing's going to happen. Like these are people that I feel like I know you guys. It's all girls. It's not like I'm meeting up with a guy and going to lunch. Like he's just paranoid about my safety, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot tell him that I'm like going to go drive with these people and go to lunch. Not these people. Again, I don't want to say it in a way that sounds like offensive because like it's, I think it's like so normal and I'm okay with it. But anyways, we go to lunch and it's so funny because I'm like, do y'all have any questions? Of course, we're talking about so many things, but I'm like, you listen to the pod. So obviously you pretty much much know everything about my life. But they were so great and so sweet. And then they dropped me off. They were driving out of town for like a weekend. They were going to this event and then leaving. So it was on the way. They offered to drop me off. And it was like the cutest, most fun thing ever. And I just love that. And I forgot to mention it. It was so great to meet them. And anywho, that was amazing. Well, this past weekend, y'all, we had the most social weekend of my life. Literally of my life. It started Thursday. Nanny boy had texted me earlier in the week and was like, hey, are you guys around? We'd love to have you for dinner. Well, he called me while I was at the vet with May on Monday. I might have mentioned this. And here's how it goes. The nanny fam knows now that I only respond to nanny boy. Anyways, whenever nanny boy calls, I answer because like he's never looking for something from me. He's always just like calling to chat. And like, obviously me and nanny boy just have like a special relationship. And I know he's just chilling and he's just the best. And he was calling me while I was at May Dog's vet appointment on Monday. I was like, hey, like I'm busy. What's going on? Miss you, love you, whatever. And he was like, no, I was just calling. Like, we'd love to see you. Are you guys in town? Let's get dinner. And I'm like, yes. And then he didn't answer. Well, Thursday, he finally texted me back during the day. He's like, sorry, like, are you guys free tonight? I was like, yeah, of course. So I texted Carter, which actually he was supposed to have a happy hour, but he said, I'm not going to that. And we went over to Nanny Fam's house. And actually, Nanny Boy had a baseball game way out in Melissa or Salina or somewhere out yonder. And therefore, they didn't get home until 7. They were like, does 7 work? And as we were driving over there, I was like, how is nanny mom going to like cook a meal? And they texted and were like, how about Chinese? Well, I think originally they were going to order it in, but we get there and nothing had been ordered. And right by them is Royal China, which is like the best Chinese food. And so we drove, me and Carter. So nanny girl is out of town. She's in the Hamptons with her friends. And then the fam is meeting her there this week for the 4th. Like the whole family is going up, but she went with a friend early, obviously because they lived in Manhattan. They have so many friends in the Hamptons, so on and so forth. Well, nanny girl was gone, but nanny boy, one of his good friends, is on his baseball team and his family is out of town, but he had to stay back because of baseball. So he was with. And here's the thing. And me and Carter talked about this so much afterwards. Nanny boy and girl, but like nanny boy's friends, because they're all freshmen in high school, they all can like hold a conversation and hold eye contact, and they're all like very not mature, like they're still very much boys, but like I didn't realize like there are people my own age that like can hold eye contact or like hold a conversation. And I'm like, what the hell? Like we're 30 years old. These 15-year-old boys, like you can have a full-fledged conversation about like normal things and they're holding eye contact and they're just so like, I don't know what that is. Like all of Nanny Boy's friends, this other boy that I used to drive, like all of them are just so great. I'm like, what is that? Is it like the private school? Do their parents just really prioritize that? It's really impressive because of course, Nanny Boy like was so excited to see me, and he first offered to drive because he has his permit. And Carter was like, of course, like drive. And then Nanny Mom's like, hold the fuck up. He only has ever driven, I think, the Tesla thus far. And the Tesla, if you've never driven one, you don't hit the brakes. The Tesla comes to a stop. So like when you're sitting stopped at a stop sign, a stoplight, like you don't have to have your foot on the brake. Like you can use the brake, obviously, if you need to like, stop suddenly or like, you get what I'm saying? But like when you're stopped, like there is no, okay, May, this is kind of like really inconvenient. I'm like, I talk with my hands, baby. Oh my gosh. Anywho, okay, she's not moving. May, please, like, are we needing to be cuddling right now? Sorry, y'all. Okay, yeah, lay like that. Anywho, you don't hit the brakes. And she's like, I don't know, in a car, like he might not know to hit the brake because he doesn't have to, and he's learning in the Tesla. I'm like, oh, that's freaking. I'm like, Carter, I'm glad that you're like so on board. He's like, yeah, drive us to Royal China. Like it's right up the street. But I'm like, if something happened, I don't know. Like if it were me and Nanny Boy in my Tahoe, and like if I still work for them, I'd be like, yeah, of course. Or like in the Tesla, fun, whatever. But I'm like, this is our one car. Like, also, Nanny Boy is like 6'2". Like he's big, which Carter is big, but he's got like really long legs. I'm just like, the car's really, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not loving this. But they still wanted to drive with us. Like literally, y'all, it's a 3-minute drive, him and his friend. And so me and Carter, well, I drove, and then the boys are in the back seat and we're just chatting about this, that, and the other. And then nanny mom and nanny dad met us there. So it was the 6 of us. We go to Royal China. We catch up on all of the things, school, summer, work, this and that and the other. And then we actually went back to their house after at like 9. We were out kind of late, I'm going to be honest. Well, late for us. It was like 10 p.m. probably when we left. Everybody was yawning, but we just caught up and it was so good to see them. We hadn't seen them since nanny dad's birthday. And I'm trying to think if I got any juicy gossip. Nanny mom still has not been able to find a job. This is the other thing, like, about the job market right now. And, you know, here's the thing. Nanny mom made a certain amount of cashola, right? She was a VP of global accounts. Like, she was a high up executive at her last job. Therefore, number one, she's not going to take a salary less than whatever her standard is. I don't know what that number is. And also, like, the amount of roles in the, you know, high ups that you can get into. I don't know. Like, I've heard the job market just sucks as is, but then she's also looking for like a super specific thing. But she said she's been putting out like 30, you know, some of them are just like Indeed or LinkedIn, like just, you know, sending out the resume. But she also has been like, for the roles that she's super interested in, like finding somebody within the organization, messaging them. Like, she has a great resume. I mean, like, obviously she's so smart. She's so personable, all of the things. She's been sending out like 30 a month. Nothing. She's had maybe 2 companies where she's done like 3 rounds of interviews and then they don't get back to her. And she's like, what the fuck? And I don't know, that she's obviously just like stressed. She just wants to work. She doesn't need to work, but she wants to. And it's just kind of been a struggle. And then now it's summer again and they're going to the Hamptons and so on and so forth. Oh, they also connected us with nanny dad. Now has his own company in his own office, and he now is like having employees because he's doing stuff in like the chemical industry. Well, there is this guy who came down from Canada that is working for him, I think maybe on the finance side. I'm not so sure now, but he's either a Mormon still or an ex-Mormon. Daniel says nothing but kind things. Like, they said he's the best, but obviously the Mormon aspect with Carter, they were like, we want to get your insight. But they also said he just moved down like the beginning of June. They're like, would you guys take him out to like dinner? He has a girlfriend, but the girlfriend lives in New York City or something. And like, we just think you guys are great people. They love him. Like, they said nothing but good things. So nanny dad connected us via text. It was like, hey, you know, Brenna and Carter meet so-and-so, and like just wanted to get you guys connected. And therefore Carter answered and was like, yeah, after the holidays, like, let's get together. And he lives close by us, I think, which would be so amazing. And he's like our age, so cute, so precious. They were like, do us a favor. I'm like, oh my gosh, no problem at all. Love that. And then Friday rolls around. Friday is here and Carter gets done with work early. And as I told you guys last week, I set up an appointment at that apartment that I really was wanting to potentially live in. However, our realtor also messaged me on Friday and said, are you guys available tomorrow to look at more townhomes? And I know that Carter is really pushing for a townhome. I'm not opposed to it. Again, I was like really hyped up on this apartment. Again, I'm a girl. Really, at the end of the day, I'm just a girl. My emotions are high and low. I see the pros and cons of each. And like, we went to dinner on Saturday with our couple friends and they're having the same exact like debate right now about like the apartment versus townhome and the size and the this and the perks and the pros and the cons. Each of them have pros and cons. But anyways, I pick Carter up and I'm like, why don't we just stop by the apartments now on our way home, because it's on the way. We can get that out of the way because we set up townhome tours with our realtor on Saturday at 12:30, and she puts together a list. We sent her 2 that we wanted to see, or Carter wanted to see. I just sent him the list. I'm like, pick some. That way, if there's one you want to see, she can throw it on there. Oh my gosh, speaking of, you guys, sorry, I just got an email from the rental company and it says, thank you for submitting your rental application for so and so and so. We appreciate your interest in becoming part of the community. Please take the time to carefully read this email. We have received the application and it is currently being reviewed. Please allow up to 3 business days from the receipt of this email to assess all information and conduct conduct the necessary checks. In addition, a rental verification must be completed by your current or previous property management company, and an employment verification must be completed by your current employer. A rental and employer verification has been sent via email accordingly. We also require a picture of your social security card. You may take a clear photo and send it to this email or to so-and-so. Bank statements for the past 3 billing cycles to demonstrate your financial stability. Please be sure to include the summary page that clearly shows the account holder's name, deposit summary, ending balance, etc. Not just that, screenshots, or not just screenshots, should be in PDF form. Y'all, I'm like literally reading this to you, but I'm reading it to myself. Please note, to ensure all applicants understand how to adhere to the property's pet and animal policies, even if you don't have a pet, you will need to complete the pet screening. If the pet happens to be amazing, please reply with the confirmation once submitted. We are now starting the process, and please complete the above tasks within 48 hours to ensure timely application processing. Please note that application and admin fees are non-refundable in the events of cancellation and denial. Okay, if any extra additional documents are required, okay, I'll have to talk to Cardi about this. I can send that all after I film this episode. But anywho, copy of your background check. Hopefully that was clean. Anywho, we set up the tours, and it's hot as fuck in Dallas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be so busy. Let's stop by the apartment and just see if they can get us in. Well, we stopped by and we talked to the people, and she had a tour coming up in like 5 minutes or like 15 minutes. So we went across the street, we grabbed a coffee, and then they called and were like, hey, the appointment showed up, so she's not available. And I'm like, totally fine. We have this appointment tomorrow. Carter actually asked for it to be changed from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., which I was so annoyed with at the time because I had set this appointment. I'm like, babe, if you said something for us, but his friend wanted to go to the range, and I'm like, whatever. I'm a little bit more angsty now. Well, no, I was angsty at the time. But we go home, we have dinner, we wake up on Saturday. Carter goes to the range. I go on a walk, but we have our appointment at 12:30. And Carter got home actually earlier than we anticipated. And he's like, do you want to go grab breakfast? Because here's the other thing. We leave on Tuesday. When you're listening to this, this is last Tuesday. We're going to Montana for a week. I haven't really gotten any groceries. I'm just trying to use up what we have. And therefore, we haven't had many groceries here. And it was Saturday. I'm like, I don't want to go get a whole thing of eggs and bacon and stuff for like one day. And we decided, let's go to Shug's Bagels because we love Shug's Bagels. And originally the plan was not to like stay there, I don't think, but the first townhome tour was at 12:30. I think we left our apartment at like 11. And actually the first tour was in Highland Park, and therefore Shug's Bagels is also in Highland Park. We get there, we eat, and Carter's like, why don't we just stick around? Because it was like 11:20 at this point by the time we finished eating and so on and so forth. It's like, do we drive home, which is only 10 minutes, but it's like in the other direction, why don't we just find something to do? And of course, we're always early to things. So we walk over to the SMU bookstore because Shug's is in like this, one of those things with multiple shops. We walk over to the SMU bookstore because, of course, we're always looking for SMU gear. We didn't buy anything. We just kind of looked around, so on and so forth. Then there's this place called Luke's Locker Room, I think, which is like a running store. And Carter was like, do you want to go in there and like look at shoes and stuff? And I'm like, well, I just got these brand new shoes, but like, yes, let's go in, whatever, something to do. Well, this killed about 10 minutes. We are so early. Carter's like, well, let's just drive over there. We pull up to the first tour at like before 12. It was like 11:55. We have 35 minutes. I'm like, babe, what are we doing? I'm already annoyed. It's like so hot out. And I went on my walk in the morning and I'm just like, oh. Anyways, we sit in the car. I have us play I Spy. We ditz around. And then our realtor gets there and we start at 12:30. The first townhome we saw, we enjoyed. It was nice. It was a little bit older because it was in Highland Park. But the thing about older homes and townhomes is that they're bigger. Like back in the day, they used to like have more space and they prioritize like square footage. Whereas like all of the brand new ones, I feel like they just like, boom, everything's so small. The rooms, because they want to just fit in so many townhomes in little areas, like if that makes sense. Anywho, then we go to the next one and she obviously put it in a certain order. That way we're not driving here and there and back and there. Well, when we were pulling up, because that's the other thing, location is so big for us. I'm like, I don't really love this location. We were over, and excuse my language, I don't want to get canceled, but I'm just going to say what everybody says. It was in the neighborhood. Oak Lawn. Okay, that's what people call it. I'm serious. Do not cancel me. Like, I'm not trying to be offensive. Like, people call this area the neighborhood. This is where Equinox is. Like, it's just a big, like, Cedar Springs has all of the gay bars. Like, that, it's just is what it is. I'm not saying any type of thing about whatever. I'm just like saying what it is. Well, we pull up, and essentially it's in between, like, Cedar Springs is like 1 block away, and then we got another main road around us. And like, for where I would want to walk, like, it's not a bad area, but like, I would have to cross a main street, either Oak Lawn or Lemon or Cedar Springs. And like, but I would never go the Cedar Springs route. Like, I would only go these other ways, and they're really busy streets and like have a lot of like businesses. It's just not like very neighborly until you get on the other side. So I'm like, I already don't really like this location. But we walk up, right? They are brand new and they're huge. Y'all, we walk in, okay, downstairs, full bedroom, okay, garage, 2-car garage, full bedroom, shower, the whole thing. Because most of the townhomes that we're seeing, let me explain the layout. You walk in, you got the garage, and then there's like an entry, and then sometimes they have like a den downstairs where it's just like a bigger space. It's not enclosed, but there's like an area, right? Amazing. Then, okay, or it's just a landing. In the newer ones in East Dallas, it's like just a landing. Then you go up the stairs, and the upstairs is always a half bath, the kitchen, and the living. Like, again, this is like pretty standard. Then you go up to the top floor, and it's the 2 bedrooms and the 2 baths. Like 2 separate bedrooms, 2 separate bathrooms. One's always the primary with like typically a dual vanity and so on and so forth. And that's it. Like, that's what we're looking at. So 2 bed, 2.5 bath. Again, the downstairs might have like a den, right? Which would be ideal, but like it kind of just is what it is. Or at least a tiny little nook that could potentially be an office. Well, this one had a full ass bedroom. Okay. The 2-car garage, amazing. You go upstairs. It's brand new. It's like all of the white finishes, the tile, everything. It has the kitchen in the center. You have the living room on one side. Then the kitchen kind of splits. And then it's like a dining center or like area on the other side, like a little place where you could definitely have a table. And then there's a tiny room with a door. Okay. It's like an office. Okay. And a half bathroom on this floor. Then you go up, and it's like 2 decent sized bedrooms, full bathrooms. This is a 3-bed, 3.5 bath, but also with an office. It has like 4 rooms because the downstairs is a full bedroom, full bathroom. The upstairs has 2 full bed, 2 full bathroom. And then the middle floor has this office that's actually an office with a closed door and a dining area, then the kitchen, then the living room. Like, it was huge, and it was a perfection. I think this one though was like $4,200. We were at the top of the budget, right? Like this, I asked her to extend it a little bit to see more options, because sometimes when you do, like, let's say we promise them we do a 2-year lease, they'll maybe bring it down to $4,000. This isn't always the case, but she said there's like negotiating tactics, right? It is perfection. Carter's in love. Again, the location, not amazing. We walk over to the living room, you guys, and it was one of those townhomes where it's like townhome, townhome, townhome. Like, there's one on the front street, and then the other ones are kind of tucked in, right? We're on the farthest one. We look out the living room window. It's facing Cedar Springs. So like, we're on the back end of all of the gay bars. There is a literal, like, what looks like a high school girls car wash happening, but it's men in Speedos. It is gay men having a car wash. I look over at Carter, and he's like, oh my God. We were dying. Oh my gosh, like a literal, like, Speedos, okay, butt cheeks, like naked men doing a car wash. It was like the craziest thing I'd ever seen. And it was Carter's favorite townhome, and it had nothing to do with the car wash. I mean, it definitely makes you think, because actually, if You guys remember that guy that I went on a few dates with back in the day? He lived by Cedar Springs and he said it was so loud. Obviously, like we'd be right up against these bars, whether they're gay bars or not gay bars, it doesn't matter. Bars that are going to be open until 2 a.m. and you don't know the sound. Like those are the things you don't see on tours. And also like the area, Carter was like, I don't like this. Like, I don't think you'll be able to walk. But like he continues to talk about it. He's like, that townhome. But I'm like, if that townhome was in a different area, it would be way more expensive than it already was. Like it was already $4,200. It would be insane in a nicer area or even East Dallas. But anywho, we leave there and we head to the townhome that we applied for. And this was one that Carter put on his list that I also noted the second it got put on the market because the location is everything. I mean, it could be better. It could be like State Thomas, but it's not even a mile from where we live now. And here's the thing about Dallas. Let me break it down to people who aren't from here. Dallas is kind of surrounded by these interstates. So 75 comes down right on the east side. So 75 runs north to south. Okay. We're on the west side of 75. And when I talk about East Dallas, where a bunch of new townhomes and like, you know, Fitzhugh is over there and Lower Greenville and a lot of great areas, but like, it's not like the city center. Like I consider the west of 75, like true proper Dallas. Okay. The east side, you just get a little bit crazy over there. We would love to stay on the west side of 75. Okay. And on, I guess, so the tollway runs north to south. It's a bit west of 75, but they essentially run like the same path. They're only probably like 3 miles from one another, but like, you know, in a city center, like that's a lot of space. The center of Dallas, like uptown is like right here. Like we're right here. Okay. So we're not even a mile away and we're on the west side of 75. And that's important. We're a couple of blocks from a grocery store. We're right next to the Katy Trail. It's literally like the second I saw the street, I'm like, perfect, perfect, perfect. Like even if it's not the best interior, whatever, like I love this location. I'm familiar with it. I literally ran past it on Friday, the day before my 6-mile run. I ran past it. Okay. It's great. It is a little bit like we're not closer, like we're moving just a hair farther from like the city, but like literally less than a mile. Okay. We get there, we pull up, we walk in. It has a den downstairs. So again, not fully enclosed, like totally open, but like definitely a room that we can make Carter's office. Amazing. 2-car garage, and it's big enough for Carter to have his at-home gym. Amazing. Okay, we walk upstairs. It's the living room. It's the kitchen. The washer and dryer are on the second floor. There is a half bath, right? And then you go upstairs and it's the primary bedroom. The closet isn't that big, but like we have another closet. That's fine. But double vanity. It has a shower and a bath in the shower. So like it's a shower first and then the tub is in there as well, but it's big, way bigger than ours. Ours is just like a little square right now. Amazing. Love that. The other bathroom or the other bedroom has a bathroom. And then there are stairs that go upstairs to like a rooftop patio. Oh, me and May are going to just like enjoy being outside up on the rooftop. I'm trying not to get my hopes up and I'll fill you in on all of the details. But it was like, again, the finishes, they're fine. Like I sent it to my friend Natalie and she's like, obsessed, amazing, love it. I'm like, but the finishes, and she's like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like they're fine. Again, it has this tile that like it's a white tile backsplash and then it has like one solid like darker tile running in the middle. Like it was definitely trying to be edgy, maybe in the teens. Like I don't know when it was built, like mid 2015. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Again, we had just come from that other townhome that was like amazing and so brand new and so perfection. So like we were, you know, of course, immediately we're like, oh my gosh, like this location is everything. We were like excited about it. And honestly, the 2 prior we were excited about, like we couldn't have gone wrong. And so far this was cheaper than the 2 prior and it was a better location and all of these wonderful things. And we're like, oh my gosh. And we're standing there because after each tour, our realtor, her name is Melissa. I don't think it needs to be private. because also I think it'd be good if she gets clients. I'm like recommending her to everybody because she does everything and she's amazing and she negotiates and like she's just the best. Like she easily could become one of my friends and I hope that we do. Oh my gosh, did I tell you this? That one time I was filming the pod, she texted me and she's like, oh my gosh, Brenna, I have an extra class at this Pilates studio. Like, can you come? Like, it's too late to cancel. Do you want this? Like, are you able to come? And I was filming the pod and I did have the card. I'm like, no, but that was like so sweet of her. Like, she's just great. I love her. And she's our age. She's married. She's amazing. Well, after every single tour, she'd be like, okay, what's the vibe? What are you feeling? Like, what are our thoughts on this? And like rank the ones from now. And so like, this was easily our number one. Then we're leaving there and there were 2 in East Dallas. And she said at first, she's like, do you guys want me to scratch those? Like, I feel like you're not gonna. And I was like, yeah, let's not do those. She had 6 on the docket to tour on Saturday. And it's exhausting, you guys. It's like hot. It's like, it's so, you're trying to like think about all of these things. And then we went to one that was like right down the street from that one, but it was way older. It was way smaller. The finishes, like there was a lot that was weird about it. I'm trying to remember what the hard no was. Oh, it didn't even have 2 bedrooms up top. It was just like one big bed. It just wouldn't have worked because I need a filming space and Carter needs an office. So we like really kind of need the den or at least an area, if it's like a dining, somewhere where his desk or like something can be. Anyways, we decided we're like, okay, let's go home and let's go apply. However, I still had these tours set up for 3 p.m. This is probably like we get home at 2 and we're exhausted. I had gone on a walk that morning. Carter was at the range outside. We're in and out of the car, driving around. Like it's just exhausting. We had Shug's bagels, which was amazing, but like doesn't make you feel the best. And he's like, do we have to go? And I'm like, I'm literally going to kill you. I'm going to kill you because I'm asking you to do this one thing. Like I know that we liked that townhome, but I'm like, can we just go look? Like I really want to look. And he's like, of course, it's fine. Totally okay. But Carter, I knew going in, he just wasn't, because I know what his priorities are. I know that he wants space. I know he doesn't love apartment living and like, running into people. And I get it. It doesn't bother me, but like, this is like the common theme. And we go, and I know immediately from his energy, he's not liking it, but I'm so mad because I'm like, why? Like I like apartment living. Like I'm thinking if I were a single girl, but again, we do have these needs. I don't know. I go back and forth because I really am excited about this townhome. Now I'm all there. I'm like, oh my God, the rooftop. We can have our friends over. It's got a big living room. It's got the kitchen. We've got 2 bedrooms. I'll have a filming. Like I'm so excited, but I was exhausted. And I was so annoyed that he just like wasn't even giving it a fair shot. I felt he said he was, but I'm like, what the fuck ever. We go home, we fill out the applications. And here's the thing. It's available now. And of course, we make enough income. You have to make 3 times the rent. We have perfect rental history. We, have all of these things. Everything's wonderful. Okay. There's no reason we should be denied. The only thing that I'm not sure about is like if somebody went and toured today and they liked it and they could move ASAP, like I think those people would get it. If they are just as good as tenants as us, if they have a clean record, like I am a little bit worried that our move date, even though it's a month, and by the time everything processes, like I think it'll be fine, but I'm just a little bit nervous. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up. Like I think it'll work out and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, so then I think like, I'm not sure the moving situation, if we want to get movers, I kind of just want to get a U-Haul. Y'all, I fucking grind when it comes to moving. I carry shit up, down, left, and like I'll get everything done. I'm like, Carter, I can, like, you go to work on Friday. If we have a few days to move in, I'll get all of the little things out that day, because also it's like a mile away and it's a townhome. So it's like, I don't have to coordinate like an elevator, because if you don't know, in big cities, especially when you're in a high rise or even a mid rise, you have to coordinate to get the freight elevators. And it's like, I can do all of the little stuff. I'm just putting it in the car and then driving, and we'll be in the townhome. So I can just take the shit out and put it in the garage for right now because nothing's in there, and then move the shit from there. Like I could get this done so quickly. And then I think if we just got like one of those regular size U-Hauls, all we need to move is the bed. We're getting rid of the couch, the desk, and like, that's it. Like really, our coffee table, the TV, those are our big Like, we're not taking the couch. So like really the only big item is the bed. I'm like, we can do that. Are we really going to pay over $1,000? Like, on one hand, like, I want to pay for things and just be done with it. But on the other, I'm like, we're already going to be spending a lot of money with the deposit, with the gym equipment, with like so many things. I'm just like, this is one thing. Like, I feel like I can do it. I've always moved myself. I've never had movers. Granted, I always lived in studios, but like, yeah, I don't know. We're going to figure all those details out. And like, obviously by the time it's approved and stuff, like, we're gone this week. We're going to come back. It's going to be already mid-July. Like, then we got to get shit rolling. I don't know. I'm super excited about that. But anyways, we go tour the apartment. We decide no. We get into a big fight because I was like just annoyed and moody. And then we had dinner and a movie with Carter's work associate, who's now our friend, but like, to give you context, it's the guy he works with, and his girlfriend. And originally we were going to go to like this Thai place, and then last minute they were like, let's go to Neighborhood Services, I think is what it's called, which is such a weird name for a restaurant, but it's like one of those restaurants where it's like sit down, but it's like American and like more casual. And I talked to his girlfriend, and it was a perfect conversation because I'm like, bitch, I'm in the same exact spot. She's my age, or maybe she's 27, a year younger. They're both like our age. I don't know if the guy is 27 or 28, but it doesn't matter. She said last year, she's like, I don't want to do Botox and filler and all of this, but she's like, I started getting facials, and she had just done micro needling on Friday, the day prior in the morning, and you can't wear makeup. So like, the Thai place we were going was nicer, and she was like, we can't go there because I can't wear makeup. Like, let's go to a more casual. So they changed it, which was amazing. They had also toured some apartments. Their move date isn't until October, I think, but like, they were getting into the same argument, but reversed. Like, he was the one who wants like a high rise and like the apartment. He loves that, and amenities, which I also feel that way. I like the pool, the gym, like I use all of that stuff. And she wants a townhome because she wants to host. She has a lot of friends and family that they want to just be able to like have stay there. So like 2 bedrooms. They also have a golden retriever, I think is what he is, a big dog nonetheless. I don't know exactly, but I think a golden retriever. And so obviously an apartment just with any kind of dog is not the best, but especially a big dog. Oh, and she also has a cat. And so she's really pushing for the townhome. So we all kind of like, we're talking about it, and just like how you have to figure out like, what's the priority, the cost, all of this. But they had toured. So we got dinner, and then actually that morning Natalie had texted me and was like, do you guys want to do something tonight? I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would love to see you guys, but we already have freaking plans. And she was like, tomorrow? I'm like, amazing. Well, anyways, we're at dinner, and then the boys, because they planned this on Friday at work, they decided that we were going to go to 28 Days Later. That is what the movie is called. Y'all, it's like a zombie movie, and it was so bizarre and so, I don't even know where to begin. The girlfriend, I don't want to say their names because I don't want like, again, I try and keep everybody's privacy. She at the end was like, and she kind of has a loud voice at times. She was like, that was so bad. What was that? And this is an argument in their relationship where she doesn't like going to the movies, but he loves going to the movies. And she's like, this is why I don't go to movies. But it was bad. It's apparently the 3rd movie of some sort of, not prequel, but like some sort of series that came out a really long time ago. The first one came out, and then there was a second, and then this. Well, then the next day, so we go to this movie. It's fine, whatever. It definitely like got us talking. It was so interesting. We get home, and the next day, Natalie and Ryan decided on putt-putt golf at like an indoor putt place. They're like, what about 3 p.m. this? And Carter and I were honestly so lethargic during the morning because it was a busy weekend. Like Saturday, you know, he went to the range. I went on my walk. We had all of these tours. We had 5 separate tours, and then we had dinner, and then we had a movie, which was great. Like every time I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is so good for me. It's so good to see people and interact and hang out. But then, you know, getting there is the hardest part. It's like working yourself up to leave the house is the hard part. However, we hang around all day. We order, I think Carter ordered the taco stand. I had some yogurt. And then we go up to Addison and meet Natalie and Ryan at Putt Shack, which is like a crazy putt place. We get through 9 holes, which took a long time. It was so busy, but it was so nice to see them. And Carter doesn't see them as much as I do. Well, because Natalie and I are the friends. You know, when it's like you two are the friends. Obviously, Carter and Ryan get along, but it just so happens like I'm always planning with Natalie. Anyways, I felt like this was really good bonding. Like Carter and Ryan have a lot more in common than I thought. And they're making plans to go to the shooting range because apparently Ryan was like a competitive high school like clay shooter. So they're going to go together, which is like so cute. They like exchanged numbers, which they already had each other's numbers. And then actually we went across the street to the Lazy Dog, this restaurant, and had dinner, and it was amazing. And then we got an unlimited pass of the putt-putt, but it was already like 6 or so, and like Carter obviously had to go to work today, and he was like, we should probably head out. They went back in, but we went home, and then now we're here. I also watched this weekend. Well, Carter and I watched on Friday night, and I think I've told you guys, Carter is the biggest anti-cruise person ever, and it's because of this documentary. Well, this documentary just came out, I think, but Carter had heard about this story when it happened. I think this was like in the late 2000s, like maybe 2011. I don't remember. Well, if you haven't watched, there's a Netflix documentary, and I don't know what it's called, but it's about the cruise that lost all of its power. Oh my gosh, y'all, like the toilets didn't work. Then the sewage started flooding, and it was hot, and they were stuck in the middle of the sea for like 3 days. Like it was a whole thing. And like, this is literally why Carter's like, I will never do that. I will never get stranded on a boat with a bunch of people, like everything. And I get it. Like, I understand the idea of a cruise. It's like typically cheaper than like what a vacation to somewhere else would be, and you have like the water slides. Like I understand for families, like you're in one place and there's so much, and there's drinks, and I'm sure it's all inclusive. Well, that was the other thing in this documentary. Like everybody was told to like go to the bathroom, number 1, pee in your shower, and then go number 2 in like a bag. They were trying to like figure out what to do, which like I understand. How do you, like, you have thousands, like over 1,000 people on this huge ass boat. But that night, because also the food went bad, nothing was working. Like there was enough food the first day, but then the next day, like everybody's like scrounging for food. Well, at the end of one day, they're like, okay, you know how we're going to make up for this? Open bar, like give people drinks. It's like, oh my God, you're going to make all of these people get drunk. And then they have to, people move their mattresses out of the rooms because the AC wasn't working. So everything was hot. And then they were putting up like tents, and like a cruise ship had passed them and people were taking photos of them. It was like, oh my gosh. Finally, they got tugboats to come and like literally latch on to them and pull them to shore in like Alabama or something. And it was a whole thing. And Carter's like, that is literally my worst nightmare. And I was like, oh my gosh. We watched that on Netflix. I'm trying to think if we've watched, I keep seeing the discourse about Love Island, but I just like, I don't think I have it in me to like catch up and then continue to watch. I've never been a Love Island gal. I apologize. I'm still reading The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna, and actually I have not been reading right before bed. I've been so exhausted. Well, this weekend, like every time we hit the pillow, I'm out. And that's how I am typically, but like if we get into bed at 8 during the weekdays, like I'm fine. No, over the weekend, like it's been so hot. I'm doing on Friday, I finally had my longest run, a 6-mile run. Okay, so by the end of the night, or by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I'm just... So I haven't been reading, but that was the weekend. Wait, let me see if I'm forgetting anything else. I like quickly put together lunch, dinner, Friday night, Saturday, shucks, tours, dinner, 28 days later, movie theater, Sunday. Okay, then we go to Montana this week, obviously when this comes out, but when I'm speaking, we go tomorrow. We're going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we always go to Glacier National Park and hike. I think we'll probably go, like there will be a 4th of July parade in like the little town that we're by. We obviously can take the boat out. Like there's so much to do. I'm so excited. The weather is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait. And I think that's it, you guys. I apologize that this episode is a little bit shorter than normal. I mean, it's still 50 minutes. I think Monday's episode is going to be about 50 minutes, but then next week we'll be back. Other than that, yeah, I have no updates. I'm so excited. We really have no plans in Montana. Like, we haven't even talked about it. Glacier National Park, one of their main roads is like under construction. I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to like get in there and go. Like, I think it's closed. But hopefully we can go to other hikes. We can go to Whitefish. I'm not really sure, but we get in tomorrow at like 1. And Carter's dad is already there. I think he's been doing some home improvement stuff, or maybe he was out hunting. No, it's not hunting season. I don't really know. But he'll pick us up. So then we have Tuesday night. We have 4 full days. And then we fly back Sunday like late. I think our first flight is at like 2. We go to Minneapolis, and then I think we'll get home at like 11. But we're bringing the little monster with us. And yeah, that's it. Well, anyways, you guys, I'll keep this short because y'all are not even going to listen anyways because it's the 4th of July. Thank you for being here. I hope you have the best 4th. Be safe. Have so much fun. Be safe, be safe, be safe. Just with alcohol, with the fireworks, with everything. Other people being drunk. Like, if you're out late on 4th of July night and like you're thinking about driving home, even if you're not drunk, think about other people driving. Like, you just got to be aware of firework accidents. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about that. All of the things. Just be safe and have so much fun. Enjoy the holiday weekend. And I will see you guys on Monday. Okay. Bye, guys.